Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I think to paraphrase Hindus from NetBank this morning, I stand between cocktails and a few things. So what I'd like to do is I will go quickly through my presentation. I hope you'll find it informative. The presentation that I'm showing, we're happy to email it to you. I'm not sure if the event organizers are doing that. It's optional, etc. But either drop me your card or visit the Huawei booth and be happy to send you the presentation. But what I will also do is send you the original consulting documents from the reference data that I put up. So if you see something from Accenture or McKinsey or whatever, I can send you the entire report. And the data here that I'm showing is within the last 6 months. So it's quite timely, and it covers all areas of the world. So, again, referring back to Hendas from NetBank, I really should have followed his presentation because he did the banker's version of what I'm about to put up. As a vendor, I mean, there was just such a complimentary thing, so I thought that was kismet and really good luck. I also had some good luck this morning as I was going over my double cappuccino breakfast. A little test quiz here. How many people in the audience actually looked at today's Business Day newspaper? Okay. So, omnichannel has been mentioned a few times, and it's going to be beaten to death in about 30 seconds. But I would like to draw your attention to today's Business Day, page 12. Woolworths South Africa has announced that they will be launching omni-channel retail at the end of June, phase 1, and it again is covering what I call the AAA play, anytime, anywhere, any platform. And taking into consideration that we have the payments and card toy boys downstairs, and this is the serious banking up here, you can see that there is a growing symbiotic relationship between the banking, the capture, and now we're seeing the retail side as well. So don't think the omni-channel is a fast buzzword here. It's actually quite implementable, as we've seen. So let me move on. So I just want to start out with what we see here, challenges and trends in consumer banking. I'm going to start with the inside-out analysis, really, from the bank's perspective, and then I'll go into the outside in from the customer's perspective, and then you can see we'll go into what does an omni-channel framework really look like. So this is a very interesting slide here, and there is a test during the cocktail reception, so please make notes. The point here is this. What we're showing you here is on the return on equity from 2000-2007 average, you see is 26%, which is very, very good. And from the global financial crisis, where the pain was coming in, you can see how this was degrading in these categories to where this is about 2010, where things leveled off. And what I really want to draw your attention to is that where the greatest gains are being made on improving ROE is what I've circled here in the red, and I'm saying greatest gains in recovery from the ICT industry. That's what that means. And so if we look at direct channel, branch rationalization and maximize performance, process simplification, cost governance, procurement, etc. These were all spoken about earlier today. May have been said a little differently, but when we're looking at specifically here, branch rationalization, that is an extremely broad topic, which omni-channel complements quite nicely. And omni-channel is not a replacement for the branch. The branch will never die. The branch itself is just an element of an omni-channel world. So what we're showing you here is some of the highlights. Maybe I can take this off because, can I? No, I like to perform. This is a bit constricting here, so I'm going to stand here like John Wayne and talk to you. You can read these things for yourself, but if you're looking at, so what I'm giving you here is a summary from the bank on top. Pressures on that competitive differentiation, and what are they looking to do? I've highlighted in red in some of these cases what is really the most important component in here. And to summarize all of this is these things cannot be done without two things. And the two things are really this: understanding the technologies that will enable you to improve upon these categories. But it's also that, really, we talked about this, your business processes, how things are done in the bank have to change, all right? So it's not a pure technology thing, but we do believe that enabling customer service innovation is really what the banks are moving to these days. Because originally we had what? We had product innovation, then sales innovation and marketing innovation. And where we are today are on the cusp of customer service innovation. And customer service innovation is actually contributing towards an improvement on the NIM, for example. I have some very interesting details done for Asia Pacific, where we can see that the more sophisticated the economy is, the looser the regulatory regime is, and the sophistication of the banks in terms of using information technology, they have actually more pressure on the net interest income margins than less developed countries that also typically have less developed regulatory regimes, i.e. constricting regimes. So that's why we really want to put the emphasis here is that all that we look at here in this presentation, and I think what we've heard quite a bit throughout the day, it actually is a customer service innovation. So innovation, I want you to take this, it's customer service innovation. It's not just technology. Now, a bit complicated, and what I wanted to point out is that what we're seeing, banks cannot be everything to everybody. Banks must specialize. And what we saw, especially with the large, with the tier 1 banks, once the crash came in, these banks had become everything. And so what we're showing you here is that your bank could be, now this is really saying, do you want to be a leader in your sector, in your country, in your economy, or cross-border? So we're looking at, is your bank into product leadership or distribution leadership? And this third one here, utility processor, you can see that this is much more transaction-oriented, payments, capture. A lot of corporate banks, you know, with a very extensive transaction services department, organization, they are looking at ways to capture new transactions from new technology, okay? So this is really that kind of a business, all right? So the recommendations here that you can see from Capgemini is that at most, an institution should be 2 of the 3. Could be even 1, but should never be all 3, all right? So what we're showing you here is that these are the phases here. Phase 1, these are the must-haves. You can just say, okay, we want to be product leader, and we'll just stay in a must-have environment, which would be, in my view, running the business, okay, versus leading the market, all right? So leading the market is here. These are the key differentiators. And so you see the same thing. If you're very strong in distribution, multi-channel, and I would have to say, I'd never really met with Nedbank before, and what I saw this morning, that bank is a distributor leader. I really believe that. I thought it was amazing what they were putting on here, right? And then again here on the utility. So what Huawei is saying is that in different areas of the business, at different levels of sophistication, Huawei does have a very robust portfolio of business solutions that can help you. So please come and have a chat with us afterwards. Now, this is actually interesting because I think there's been at least 6 speakers that touched on all of this. And there was no collusion, all right? But I think this is a pretty good, actually it's a damn good summary of everything that was said today. Now this is the outside-in view. Just look at the consumer demands, and either if you are a technology geek or you have kids that are, or you know that they are, consumer demands. Expect flexibility, quality, ease of use. And then the footnote here, as experienced in personal and social networking. And then professional advice on demand, what I call that AAA play, anytime, anywhere, any platform. Now one of the aspects about, I don't know, where are we right now with generation alphabet? X, Y, Z, I, for what? Incognito? Oh. Well, I would have to say, I can give you an example of idiot, because a lot of the young, now you look at that young generation, you know, we're talking about the 12-year-old to 18, 19, 20, well, I would have to say, well, my daughter is 23, but she falls into this too. Okay, so professional advice on demand, right? There is a tremendous ignorance of financial services in the youngest generation. And so I was really amazed and surprised on the example that Hendis gave on having games for kids to learn. I thought that was revolutionary. That's not evolutionary, that's revolutionary. But anyway, think about this. How do you provide professional service on demand? And not just from an access point of view, but from a pull point of view as well. Now, proactive, personalized interactions. Now, madam, when you applied for that credit card, you were an existing customer of that bank, right? So I'm glad you had that problem, because it validates what I want to say here. Since she was and this also comes into the data, mining and all of that. A proactive, personalized interaction would have been when you logged in and said, I want to apply for a loan. The bank should have been able to collate all of your personal and account information and pre-fill out the form for you. And if they were able to do that, then they wouldn't have ignored you for 2 months because they never saw your application to begin with, right? So when we talk about proactive, personalized, this is how banks can use the existing data, right? Now another topic that came up, what I call control the transaction. Everyone was talking about customer in demand, in control. Now, one of the things is, it's going to be a bit of a challenge from an IT infrastructure, application architecture, data architecture, and a business workflow process point of view to do this. Because today, very few banks can let you begin and then suspend, and then resume, and then finalize AAA. But that's what we're talking about here. That's controlling the transaction, okay? So that technology is there. So the trending aspect here you see, that commoditization of technologies and services, but also that unprecedented sophistication of technology in personal and personal use networking, and being mobile and constantly online is a way of life. All right? So these are the things that the banks are having to face. So what are the banks here? We talk about converged digital and physical channels. And this is where omni-channel comes in. And that branch is not changing. The brick and mortar is actually changing. The Citibank Smart Branch has 8 different sizes of a branch and different self-directed and self-service capabilities, and all the way up to concierge. And speaking of concierge, you know the Citi Smart Branch that came out about 4 or 5 years ago. And the first 2 branches were in Tokyo. And I was working with Cisco then, and we were doing some work with them. What was very interesting was it was the touch the wall, sit down on a tablet. You could deposit cash, but they wouldn't do any cash dispensing. But it was a total concierge branch. And by that, they actually hired concierge that worked in the Four Seasons Hotel in Tokyo, brought them in to run these branches, and it was total concierge service. So they're trained up on how these gadgets work, what kind of financial products are being sold and can be accessed, and to all the way to the extent that, let me get you an on-demand video conference with a professional, whether it be a loan officer, mortgage, or wealth management, right? So that's really a very good example of that convergence of digital and physical networks. Now, technology is no longer tied to specific channels. I give you an example, and I'm going to show it maybe on one other slide as well. But think about it, the use of video in a bank. It's not just dependent on one type of a device. So I listed out here, video across the bank is what my little term that I bring into the community. But you have smart ATMs, you have video-enabled ATMs, you have kiosks, smartphones, tablets, in-branch conferencing, and home HD TV with internet set-top boxes. Now this is being, I would say, tested in the US right now. There's no reason why a mortgage officer could be at home on an iPad and arrange a video conference to his client, married, so they both can't be at the bank during normal banking hours, and they're sitting at home with a high-definition TV with an internet set-top box and having a conversation on working through the details of a mortgage. These things are not, pie in the sky. They are here. They are here. And then again, redefining customer segmentation. I don't want to dwell too much on that, but I put this up here. I think nobody can refute this, that when we talk about enhanced self-service and self-directed, what is it to do? It's to really move high-volume, low-revenue transactions into that self-service world, where you can spend more time on higher revenue, more profitable transaction in the branch, right? So all of this is playing on here. This is this is inside out, outside in on one page. On the right-hand side, you can see the traditional profitability metrics here. As you see, management, investors' view, shareholders' perspective. These are the things that are being looked at. But on this holistic view, if these go good or if these go bad, it's obviously going to impact over here. And this is where we've all been talking about knowing your customer, AAA, accessibility, ease of use. This is what needs to be measured as well. So I would state that when decisions are being made, testing new types of technologies and business processes, it's very important to, and you typically will do this in a POC, is to really have some very broad KPIs. By broad, I mean covering a lot of different areas, all right? Just seeing if something will work. In most cases, it'll work. Or you may have some plumbing fixtures to do. But how do you really substantiate that from a KPI point of view, where you know that you need to improve these things, right? So that's a very interesting holistic view. So an omni-channel world, and these are just some examples, is when we talked about hub and spoke, and that is a whole series of different types of brick and mortar customer contact points, right? Branch, everyone seems to think it means the whole marble floor, and that's not really true. But when we're talking about hub and spoke here, we're talking about hub and spoke in the financial terms and in the branch topology, if you will, more than a networking. Kiosks. Now, kiosks are coming out in, I would say, a fairly narrow concept, because what Huawei believes in from the kiosk is that you should be able to onboard, you should be able to have biometrics, digital signature, print passbooks, scan documents if you don't have, say, an electronic ID card, print out contracts, or have them come up electronically, do that signature, and then print a hard copy out for your customer. But you see, it's more of a cashless environment. And a kiosk doesn't mean it's sitting in an airport. Kiosks are really a virtual mini branch, if you will. So you look at the architecture, the floor plan of your branches today. We look at having, as soon as I walk in the door, I want to have that complete self-service environment. And next to that is that concierge service. And the concierge service would help you on the self-directed systems. They could get you into the queue and then take you over to some information panels where you're not just reading streaming Forex rates, okay? You should be able to touch the screen and get product information or just browse around. And when you finally get to the teller in the back of the branch, that's because you haven't been able to be serviced before you got there, okay? So this is a branch layout, but kiosk really quite popular. We have clients in Western Europe. We have clients in China, Hong Kong, and POC in Russia. So it's actually picking up. The other thing we're looking at, video telemachine. Now, what would be the difference? The video telemachine versus a station. A station can be a much more robust system where you're not only onboarding, but you can apply for products. I want to apply for an auto loan, and then you roll in, well, then you have to get the auto insurance from me if I'm going to give you the auto loan, so I do some automatic cross-selling here as well, versus a video telemachine that's primarily used for a help service, or can I get some more information, and take it away. Smart ATMs, also referred to RTMs, retail teller machines, which are cashless teller machines. And here you're seeing it could be to pay bills or, in or out, right? You have your money obviously in an account somewhere or maybe even on a credit card, and you can buy something. And you will have that either a chit in a retail store or a coupon for a train ticket, an airplane ticket, etc., right? The credit centers, these are really that digital media signage where I said it is interactive. So these kinds of info centers would be good in a mall where you could be doing a marketing launch of special products for a season or a discount. We want to offer something. If you pick up this loan within 30 days, you'll get a break, you'll get a coupon or something like that. And this is really an info center, and typically, as I said, in a mall, but should also be within a larger branch. Touchscreen, I talked about as well. Video conferencing, vendors are talking about telepresence, but video conferencing could be web-based. It should be able to go from iPhone to Android on a video conference, right? So these are the kinds of examples on that. And then we look at the mobile apps as well. So if I'm able to start a transaction on one, suspend it, resume it, and then close it on 3 or 4 different platforms, that's really what we're talking about here for omni-channel. This is, I'm not going to go in detail on this because I'm sure you'll ask for the presentation. What we're showing you here is differentiated branch formats where you see from 100% transaction-based with no people to maybe 1 person 2 times a week or something like that, to all the way to the flagship or the innovative branch as well. What we're showing you here is the coverage is referring to the total percentage of customers in the bank. So you would want to have 50% of all of your customers at one time or another be conducting services in this platform versus 30%, 15, 5, okay? And so this is really actually not theoretical. And as I said, Citibank they don't have 4, they have 8 different flavors, right? Now, just a quick example here, because I'm really running over time. We can all agree with this: branches, online, traditional ATMs, call centers, okay? And if you remember what I said before, technologies are not nailed to a specific channel anymore, because if you look at where video applies, it's across the bank, right? In wrapping up, this is what I call the omni-channel banking framework, because what I'm showing you here is what I refer to as new business attributes of your bank. What do you want to do? Offer those personalized services, right? We want to have expanded advisory services. This is absolutely critical for banks, okay? Is how can you expand, broaden, and deepen advisory services, right? And on the consumer side, on-demand interactions. It's not difficult to do. And we want to have self-directed services as a foundation, not as a specialty. Because 3 years ago, having self-directed a video click-to-chat capability on the web portal was a very big expense, and it was typically used only for premier or VIP clients. All of this is leveling off, that there's nothing special that a high net worth should have that you cannot provide to your regular customers. And again, that holistic customer view. So, as you saw, these were some of the elements within omni-channel. Now, within your bank and within your IT department, I am positive that they are discussing all of these things to bring into the bank. But it's not bringing it into the bank. It's bringing it into the business. And that's the difference between a business perspective of this versus an IT. BYOD, everyone says bring your own device, right? I say banking your own device, okay? Because BYOD, in a lot of the literature, is always referring to within your corporation, within your enterprise. Well, excuse me, if my client walks in with an iPad, I want him or her on a wireless connection to get into an intranet in that branch and start doing things, even to the point of on-demand interactions. Why not? So that's part of BYOD. So it's not an internal thing. Same thing with the virtual desktop. If you're going to start offering these fixed tablet, touch screens, etc., you don't want to have servers and applications sitting out in those branches, if at all possible, for security reasons, but also for upgrade, ease of upgrade, etc. So you need to look at virtual desktop as a business implementation strategy and not just a cost-saving thing in the back office. And cloud and the big data, they go hand in hand. So we talk about data mining. Cloud is very tightly, this is all very tightly coupled into social media, and then again back onto data mining and regulatory regimes, etc. Now, if I'm doing AAA, which I've never done before because every type of a technology was pretty much siloed, I have to re-look at my security infrastructure, okay? I really have to look at it from a different perspective, right? Because I have a lot of very dodgy mobile phone-based applications going on, and we heard how insecure that is. So we really need to start re-examining the complete security infrastructure that we have. And as a personal opinion, I think that banks that are, well, every bank is offering mobile banking applications. But are the banks that are supplying the mobile applications, are you looking at that interaction from the perspective of being compliant to PCI DSS? Well, you should, because they're conducting transactions over there, over that channel. So why wouldn't a mobile phone interaction with a bank fall under the same regime of PCI DSS, okay? And then lastly, I talked about the business process automation and have that in the forefront of your mind when we're looking at implementing all this. And in summary, strange but true, Huawei can provide you with very, very good consulting and services as well as products that cover all of these things. And you see this one here, virtual ATM, we don't make that. We work with NCR, Diebold, Cal, these kinds of, you know. So we're providing the video infrastructure to the video ATMs. That's why we say open to partnership here.